What's up, everybody? Our Week 6 wideout of the week is Julio Jones after going 8 for 132 and 2 touchdowns. I'm glad you guys voted him in this week. It's great to see him back on the field performing at such a high level. Helped Atlanta get to their first win of the season. Julio is one of my favorite wide receivers. He's a pro's pro, never complains, just shows up to work every day. Jones is aligned at the top of your screen for his first reception of the day, running an outbreaker. It's not the sexiest route, but not every route is going to look like it's drawn on paper. He does a great job here attacking vertical in his stem, something you hear us say quite often. He gets on the corner's toes so quick that the corner has no choice but to collision here. Not the greatest idea when covering Julio, who often wins the physicality battle. You'll see here, he's getting some type of bracket from the safety in the corner. He knows if he wins route leverage to the pylon, the safety's completely out of the play. Julio has two options here. At the top, he can either give the corner some type of hip shift, a rock or step to move him inside, opposite of where he wants to go, or he can embrace the contact at the top. He embraces contact, creates separation as he fights pressure with pressure through his cover defender to separate to the sideline. This is ultimately what makes Julio so difficult to cover. When you get physical at the top of the route, he's strong enough to win. As we see here, he's skilled enough to run every route in the tree and run it at a high level. And perhaps the best part of his game, which to me is a bit underused, I guess due to the offense, and I don't know the reasoning for it. They don't throw it to him enough. His ability to win at catch point. He's one of those guys that even when he looks covered, he's never really covered. The second reception of the day comes on a smoke screen here. Two things to note are how decisive he is after the catch and how he finishes the catch. He catches it, his eyes immediately get downfield, and he knifes vertically rather than dancing laterally. Jones knows most of the trouble comes from the inside, so he sticks his right foot in the ground, expands, gets up the sideline. And then let's watch how he finishes with physicality here. There's a time and place to step out of bounds. Jones decides to deliver the blow on a 22-yard gain. Julio's going to be at the top of our screen to the right of the formation for his fifth reception of the day. He's running a simple hitch route here. Anytime we get access or off coverage on any of our quick game stuff, things like slants, quick outs, hitches, we need to treat it almost like routes on air. Now obviously he can walk down in our stem and it alters the way we would run a route, but when it stays cushioned at route depth, we aren't necessarily creating separation, but we're going to be maintaining the separation provided to us by our cover defenders. Like we said, it's not much different than routes on air. The only way this hitch gets broken up is if Julio provides an indicator to the defender that a break is coming. We use the word indicator quite often. We'll revisit what it means. Any choppy strides without purpose. Obviously, you can alter strides to cause a cover defender to drive you out on something such as a double move. But we don't want to chop our strides off the ball here. Abrupt change of height. Eyes staring at our break point, and then just opening our eyes prior to hitting our route depth. These are all indicators for the DB that a break is coming. He can drive it. If we don't present these indicators to the cover defender, ball's on time, DB's going to be late. Jones attacks using that snap down or trigger step to provide the false acceleration. Does a great job in his vertical stem. Puts Atlanta in 2nd and 3. Once again, we win our quick game routes by making everything look the same, threatening in our vertical stem. Late in the third quarter, Julio essentially ices the game on a 4th and 3. The Falcons fail to convert it, immediately becomes a ball game. Vikings will get the ball near midfield, potential to make it a one-score game headed into the 4th. Really was set up for another Falcons collapse. Julio said, nah, we're good on that this week. Jones is number 2 in trips here. He's going to be running a short in route. He actually appears to be open. The line to gain was the 37. Jones gets +2 out of his break at about 35. Ryan, however, decides not to throw the ball, and it now becomes a scramble drill. Jones expands to the sideline as Ryan escapes the pocket, as he should, and identifies he's now the widest guy on the field and sees Ryan to tuck and run. Locks onto his cover defender to block and then peeks back at Ryan and sees he's about to get sacked. So Jones escapes up the sideline, and simultaneously Ryan is throwing him open. Working the scramble drill really to perfection. It's a fantastic play by two extremely skilled football players who've really been on the same page for about a decade. Wideout's very basic scramble rules. We won't dive into them completely. If you're deep, you come back to the ball. If you're short, you go deep. If you're breaking in, the quarterback escapes to the sideline. You ideally want to match the quarterback as he exits. Jones expands to the sideline here. We'll treat this as two separate scramble drills. Jones expands to the sideline when Ryan exits the pocket, and then Jones escapes upfield on the second part of this scramble drill, never giving up on the play, finishing the way he always does. That'll do it for our Week 6 Wideout of the Week spotlighting Julio Jones. It's great to see Jones back on the field, one of our favorite receivers to watch and study week in and week out. Stay tuned as we'll be doing a second Wideout spotlight this week due to how close the voting was. Thank you guys so much for your time and support. See you soon.